Hi, this is Tom Sheehy with the Sheehy Strategy Group in Sacramento, California. Hey, there's a lot of talk in the state capitol right now about the state's surging revenues and its impact on the California State Appropriations Limit, which is also known as the Gann limit. And the Gann limit is a constitutional cap on how much tax revenue state government can actually spend each year. This rule was created through a California voters proposition. It was Proposition 4 in 1979. And this proposition was largely promoted and championed by the anti-tax activist Paul Gann, hence the name the Gann limit. It was later significantly modified by California Prop 111, which increased the gas tax in California. And they wanted to carve that out of the Gann limit so it wouldn't make the state approach it any faster, carve out that additional gas tax revenue, that is. But together, these measures established a formula that restricts spending growth based on factors such as population and inflation. And the idea of the Gann limit is to prevent state government spending from expanding faster than the economy in the state and its population. The Gann limit applies to spending from tax proceeds. It doesn't include federal funds or certain other revenues. Importantly, local governments must also comply with their own appropriations limit under this constitutional framework. If California exceeds the limit for 2 consecutive years, the state cannot simply continue spending the additional revenue however it wishes. Instead, the excess must be redirected in very specific ways. The money must either be returned to taxpayers, distributed to the public schools, or spent on certain allowable one-time purposes such as infrastructure projects or increased subventions to local governments. As the state budget projection that was released on January 9th of this year in 2026, California remains below the spending cap. However, current estimates show the state about $6.5 billion under the limit in 24-25 fiscal year, $21 billion under the limit in the current fiscal year, and right now they're projecting almost $34 billion under the limit in 2026-27 fiscal year. That's the fiscal year that starts July 1st. However, we're getting much stronger than expected tax revenues coming in, and is far exceeding the revenue estimate that was in the January version of the governor's budget. And this surge in tax revenue could bring the state closer to the Gann limit in the coming months and coming years. Approaching the limit has important implications for state budget writers. Higher revenues can automatically increase spending obligations in certain areas, particularly in funding for the K-12 school system under Prop 98, as well as deposits into budget reserves under the California Prop 2 or Rainy Day Fund. If the Gann limit is actually reached, lawmakers have less flexibility in how they would allocate additional tax revenue. To stay within the constitutional cap, the state may need to redirect funds or reduce spending in other programs that are not constitutionally protected. This could threaten health and welfare programs of the state. It can include other areas such as housing programs, the universities, public safety and corrections, even natural resource initiatives. A recent example occurred in 2022 when California redirected almost $48 billion in surplus funds toward allowable one-time spending, such as infrastructure. And it also issued $9.5 billion in taxpayer refunds in order to avoid exceeding the limit. While the Gann limit plays a major role in shaping California's fiscal policy, it does not account for structural deficits or potential federal funding reductions. As revenues fluctuate, policymakers must continue balancing the constitutional spending requirements along with the state's other needs. In Sacramento, this is Tom Sheehy with the Sheehy Strategy Group, and we'll see you next time.